for those listening, please tell us a little bit about yourself, how and why you got into modeling.
Okay, my name is Tamila, and I'm originally from Uzbekistan, and I'm bilingual, so I speak Russian. I started
Fantastic.
modeling. I started modeling originally back when I was in high school, but I didn't do it professionally. I didn't do it consistently, and I think the main reason why I went back to it probably a year or two ago
Mm-hmm.
is when I started to build up my portfolio to consistently keep looking for work and for fashion shows and shoots. It's because I realized that I needed a push and I needed to get out of my comfort zone, and I knew that it would help me personally
Mm-hmm.
because I wanted to develop, and I think modeling is a great way to do that.
That's awesome. Especially because I know a lot of people who would be listening are also getting into modeling because it's something that builds them up, whether that be confidence in themselves or just wanting to look and feel good. So,
It
um,
does all that, yeah,
mm-hmm,
and it helps with networking, with communication, with getting to know different types of people and being able to talk to all those different types of people and seeing the work that's out there and working on yourself.
right. If you can expand a little bit about working as a freelance model, because I know that's what you've been doing for, as everyone usually starts out, we always do as a freelance when we're building the TFP. Tell us a little bit of what that's like and what you wish you'd known beforehand before starting all of that.
Freelance work is not easy. It's not always easy finding jobs that pay. You
Mm-hmm.
definitely have to work up towards that. So for a while, it is okay to build up your portfolio and work with different people and try to get comfortable with modeling. And then with confidence, you'll learn how to position yourself, how to value yourself and your time and your work. Um,
Yeah.
it's even right now, me being pretty confident, knowing what I'm doing, it's still hard to find um, jobs and events that will pay. So it's always a balance of building my portfolio and my image and actually working for money.
Right. And especially because networking is key, as you've mentioned. What
Yes.
tips and tricks do you have for those to network? Because I know with modeling, networking is the biggest weapon we as models have, and it's something that so many people can be intimidated by, and I know I usually am because talking with people is just like
True.
nerve-wracking, but
Yes,
but we got to do it.
we have to. I mean, I'm a very shy person. I don't know. Some people think I look very confident, that I position myself very, confident and like I know what I'm doing. It's
Hmm.
not always the case, even when it looks like it. So sometimes I do fake it till I make it.
Yeah.
Um, but when it comes to networking, I would say just being friendly, being open to communication, being open to different people, just putting yourself out there. And I tell myself that. So I try to follow this advice. It's not always easy, um, but sometimes just maybe writing out a couple lines of your introduction, who you are and who you're trying to work with, why you want
Right.
to work with them, just a very polite message and throw it out there. Usually people respond positively, right? If
I
they
feel like
want
it's
to.
on social media, right? Where you send that type of format to them on Instagram or something like that.
Yeah, Instagram, email, whatever it is, whatever line of communication you find
Hmm. And
for.
what about in person? Because I know, for example, we meet so many people at such a short amount of time, for example, like
Mhm.
the fashion shows or on a photo shoot. How do you go about networking there?
Right. That's always difficult for me also because I'm not the first one usually to approach people, but be genuine. So if you see a designer that you like
Hmm.
and you like their clothes, come up to them, compliment them. People like to be complimented. People like receiving, some positive feedback.
Right.
So you can start by that. That's really easy. Just coming up to them, introducing yourself, saying what you think, being open, being just friendly.
Right? Be yourself, be open, be genuine, all good things. Yes,
Don't be afraid to make
100%.
that first step. Mm-hmm.
Right. I know. And it's still hard to this day for me too to even go,
Yeah.
hi, my name is, I
Mm-hmm.
like your stuff, but not like that, just, just really being professional.
Right. Or just getting their information like, hey, oh, by the way, are you on Instagram? Can I get your Instagram account?
Right.
Just make it seem like you're interested.
And
And if
it's
you are,
so
and if they
easy
feel that you
nowadays.
are, right,
Yeah,
just show it. And it will be reciprocated sometimes. Maybe not if
exactly.
someone's too busy, but it's even if you meet in person and get their information, there's nothing wrong about messaging them later on and reminding them of you, right?
Exactly. You want to stay in their mind. So
Yes.
tell us a little bit about some opportunities that you've landed through networking.
Some opportunities. Um, so I've made some connections, with different photographers who have actually passed my name to other photographers or designers. So it's word of mouth. If people like you, then they're going to speak highly of you to others. That's what happened
Exactly.
to me. I've gotten some great paying jobs too. There's a photographer who consistently asks me to come and shoot with him, and um, a woman who does costume design. So maybe once or twice a month we do a shoot, and
Yeah.
and then basically once someone knows you and your reputation, you build that good reputation with people, they usually pass it on. And I've noticed that happen. So it's very important to maintain a good image with everyone and, being your professional self.
Right. Which is absolute key as well because word of mouth is so important, whether you're a model or whatever business that you have.
Yes.
Um, it it's crazy how much reputation is what models need. So let's talk about professionalism. You briefly touched about it. What tips do you have for those listening, especially those who are just starting, on how to be a professional model?
So with modeling, you have to realize that you have to be patient. You have to be flexible. When working with a lot of people, whether it is a photo shoot or a fashion show, there will be changes, there will be delays. You might have to sit and wait for a while. You might be placed somewhere else last minute. The order of models might be arranged differently. So you never know what's really going to happen. You have to prepare yourself to work with it and basically go with the flow. That means having a positive attitude while those changes occur, right? Um, Even though it might be tiresome or you might have a long day shooting or filming,
Mm-hmm.
you have to maintain that energy. It is your job, right? Once you get in front of the camera, you have to maintain that look, whatever it is that you're trying to show. You can't have your moodiness or anything else in your life come come and ruin that. So you have to
Absolutely.
be, right. So you have to be professional with everyone. You have to basically know how to present yourself, even when things might get difficult.
That's true. And sometimes you may not always book the job until you're actually on set or on the runway too. So
Exactly.
you're very, very much right about mentioning being flexible and patient. Those are super important things that everyone needs to hear and practice. Let's talk about booking the jobs. I know a lot of people think that modeling is super glamorous and we make a ton of money, but in reality, we don't. So, how do you balance work life and modeling?
And that is very difficult for some people, but I'm finding myself being able to do both, work full time and model, because I still have to pay the bills, I have to make an income, so I do have a full-time job. Um, and currently, my schedule is so much better for me. I end at 2:30 going forward, which gives me plenty of time in the afternoon to do any modeling jobs if there are any during the week. And then of course I have my weekends free. So time management, trying to, fit what you can. And I have taken time off from work to do modeling jobs if they were worth it. So I try to make it work, but it is a balance. And until you can model full time, unfortunately, we
do what
have
you
to
gotta
fit
do.
everything in. Exactly.
Yeah. So you just talked about booking jobs that are worth it. Tell me a little bit more about that. What
Worth
jobs
it.
are worth it to you? Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Because I know a lot of models either that have been working for a little bit are struggling to figure out what their value is, or just get past the whole working for free, especially as freelance models.
Hmm. If I'm not working for money, so if I am working for free, I have to have some value in the project. If I know that I'm working with an amazing photographer and I'm going to get awesome pictures that I can use for my portfolio, or if the event, is going to be memorable and something I can use for my experience, for my modeling growth, then I will do it. If it's something that's really casual or something I don't really know a lot about, I'll think twice and
Can you give
I'll
some
use my
examples of what
language
that looks
skills.
like?
For example, sometimes photographers have modeling photographer meetups, right? So just where they gather a lot of models and photographers and everyone takes pictures. That to me lately is not a valuable experience because I've already had a lot of that experience before,
Right.
and I don't prefer it at this point in time because I don't get to research the photographers ahead of time. I don't know who I will be working with, who will show up to these meetups. So it's out of my control as to who takes pictures of me and what pictures of me will be on the internet from
Right.
that event.
That is
So
super important.
that's a good example of something that could be valuable to me if I'm beginning to model. I'm trying to network and meet new people, right?
Right.
But once I've already established some connections and I have people that I consistently work with, it might not be as important to me. So I wouldn't take a day off from work to go to this meetup.
I
But if I'm
agree.
free, yeah, if I'm free, if I have nothing to do, maybe if I have time, I'll go
You'll
and meet
consider it.
them.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So you just
Yeah.
have to weigh what it is that's making you go to these events, what you
Yeah.
want out of it.
What do you value? Is it time? Is it money? In our case, it's more time and what can build our portfolio. Yep. All of
Both.
those things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So moving on a little bit more. What type of dream job or campaign are you looking to land in the future? Who do you want to work with? What kind of brands? All of those things.
You know, a brand I really love, and I'm not sure if I got the pronunciation correct. Marchesa
Mm-hmm.
fashion. All of their dresses, the elegance, the
Oh my gosh.
feminine
Yeah, I
styles.
have subscribed to their Instagram and I'm always saving everything.
Yes. So I'm a very feminine person or feminine model. I'm very ladylike. I like dressing up. So all
Yes,
of
you
that
are.
I would
Mhm.
love to do either photo shoots or shows. I love runway. You know that.
Yes.
My height doesn't exactly allow me to be a professional runway model. Maybe right now, maybe something will change in the future. Who knows?
Right.
But that would be a dream.
Yes. Let's briefly talk about that. Things that you want to see changing in the industry. You mentioned height. I know the industry is changing, but it's not changing enough in terms
Not
of
fast enough.
inclusivity, yeah, diversity, all of the things. So, what ideal type of industry would you like to see in the future?
I would like to see an industry that has a place for different models, whether it's background, ethnicity, whether it's age, because oftentimes we get rejected based off age, right? If we're
Yes,
trying
they
to
don't
apply
even look
for
at us.
agency, right? And I feel like that's sometimes not fair because you can have a person who's over 30 look like they're in their 20s if they take care of themselves.
Right.
And then you can also have a 20-year-old who doesn't look that well because they haven't taken care of themselves. So you'd really, age is such a difficult thing because you can't judge a person based on what, and how good of a modeling job they'll do,
right,
based on how old they are. So age is a big one for me. Height, tattoos. Right now we're living in an era where people are getting tattoos, and oftentimes those people might get rejected from
mm-hmm.
either shops or certain agencies, certain opportunities. But just
yeah, it'd be really neat if I saw more models with real bodies on certain campaigns. And there was something on Facebook that popped on. I can't remember the name of the brand, but it was like some lingerie company, and the model had a huge tattoo down her side, and I was like, oh, that's really cool.
You know what I just thought of? I was online shopping just recently, and I was browsing, and I noticed, there was a picture using a typical standard model size skinny fit,
yes.
and then there was also a larger model also featured. And I was like, that's very cool, and that made me think, wouldn't it be nice if when online shopping we're able to look at one item and scroll through and see the different sizes of the same item,
right,
in
how
that
it fits
same
on different
list.
bodies. Yes.
Because I
That'd
was
be such a
thinking,
neat
well,
thing.
because if a person who's a little larger looks at that really thin model, they don't know how that piece of clothing will look on them, right?
Exactly, they can't relate.
Exactly, and vice versa. The skinny model might look at a larger model and say, well, that wouldn't fit me. But that made me think, we have Instagram carousels, right, where we
Yes.
make a post and we can just flip through. So same thing, if there was, for each item being sold, all of the sizes listed and all of the different models, that would be amazing.
I think so too.
The ideal for me.
The ideal. We'll work on it. Hopefully faster within our career time, but
Right.
Okay, so moving on, as a model, what are your proudest moments?
The proudest moments, there were a few, and it always takes me by surprise because I feel like I'm not confident enough. But at fashion shows, whenever I would be chosen to demonstrate a model walk for models, and I'm always surprised and shocked. Really? You want me to demonstrate and show everyone? Which tells me I'm doing something right and I'm good at it. So it always makes me proud a little bit. And I mentioned word of mouth. I saw a Facebook post on a photography page on Facebook. Somebody mentioned me as being a good model, as someone who knows how to work with hands and poses. And that made me feel so amazing inside. And I was like, people are referring me to others.
Right.
So that's always a proud moment.
Yes.
That's
I was telling our listeners.
That's when you know you're growing, that you're improving.
Yes, 100%. I was just telling my listeners earlier for the intro how I first noticed your walk when we met, because it was the most ferocious thing and it had so much presence, and it just took me by like surprise, because I don't know, at the theater when the sound is so loud and you're like sitting on your chair like this, that's the type of presence I feel whenever I see your walk. It's just like
that's how I feel about you. And I was the one who first reached out to you because I was like, she is amazing. I need to get some tips from her, talk to her. I need to know her.
That networking, guys. That's how we do it.
Making that first step.
Yes. Okay, so we've talked about your proudest moments. Let's talk about your not so proud moments that you've had and you wish you could redo or probably avoid.
Not so proud moments. Time management and not being ready enough for a photo shoot. That's happened a couple times when you just feel that you're not giving enough energy, you're not doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. Your mood is low, you weren't maybe prepared, maybe you rushed with makeup. That was me. uh, it's happened before, and I'm not proud of it, but I've learned that if I do shoots from now on, if I do fashion shows, I have to be prepared. So I always have everything that I need with me, my little makeup kit,
Yes.
different types of clothing just in case, so that in an event that I'm not ready, or I need a few touch-ups, I can do that for myself. And if I select a certain time for a job, for a photo shoot, to be prepared when I'm already there. So, and I'm always still working on myself. I haven't perfected myself, of course, and there's always room to grow.
Always. I love how you mentioned that, working on yourself on the inside, because this profession is very much an outside type of
Yeah.
type of industry, but true beauty shines from within.
Hmm.
Yes. So what are some things that you've been doing to help work on yourself?
Really, just a lot of introspection. You have to sit with yourself alone and reflect on past experiences, what you did right, what you did wrong, and find out exactly what it is that's stopping you. Why are you not able to perform to the best of your ability or the way that you want?
Right.
Um, just having a conversation with yourself, and it's really hard to describe, but because it's a lot of work,
Right.
internally. You have to, it's kind of like psychology with yourself. You have to sit down, you have to listen to yourself, um, figure out what's making you feel a certain way. And to help combat any insecurities or to build up confidence, I would say just work in front of the mirror. Find your good angles, know what works for you, and know how you can present yourself in the best way. I know it's very hard. You hear this and you say,
Yes.
okay, it's easy for you to say this, but what can I
Right.
actually
To
do to
actually
change?
put in the work to do it is so much harder than people realize. Actually, I'm sure people are now having the time to work on themselves due to the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny how everyone is handling themselves during this time. And the ones who are doing really well are the ones who are taking the time to um, reflect on themselves, really work on themselves mentally, physically, whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
And, or those who are just starting into it. It doesn't matter if you're a model or not, but these are the things that really, really help you out.
Being proactive. And I've
Absolutely.
mentioned this to you before because you've asked me. Um, you have to perfect yourself, not to somebody else's standards, but to your own. Um, what makes you feel comfortable in your own skin, whether it is fixing acne or becoming more fit, going to the gym, and start today. So you can't keep procrastinating. You can't keep
Exactly.
pushing until tomorrow and say, I'll do it next week. I'll start next Monday. Monday never works. You have to start today. You have to make that decision when you think of it, and
That's good
step by
advice.
step.
Yes.
Yeah, and just little
Yeah.
steps. And I tell this to everyone, even my parents. I'm like, 15 minutes a day, if you can't go to the gym, at least for 15 minutes a day, just do some sort of exercise, stretching, whatever it is,
Right.
to have some physical activity in your schedule.
Get in those steps of the day. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Because you never know, if the more you keep saying, oh, I don't feel like it, or I'm just too tired. We get it. We're
I'm
constantly
guilty of it.
working. We
Yeah.
have jobs, and then to do modeling on top of that, and staying fit and active and caring for yourself. It's it's like three jobs in one. We get
Exactly.
it. But if you don't start, you never know, because then a whole year has passed by and then you're like, where did the time go?
I
Yeah,
still haven't done anything. I still
right.
haven't moved. Right. So another thing with that, why I'm emphasizing working on yourself is this sooner we become our, well, perfect versions to ourselves, right? Whatever it is that we want to reach, whatever goal we have in our mind, the sooner we feel comfortable with ourselves, the easier it will be for us doing those modeling jobs. Right? When
Exactly.
you're in the front of the camera, you will not think, oh, is my zit hidden? Am I, is my hair okay? Or
Right. You don't have any
am I
time for
hiding?
insecurities anymore.
You don't. You're only thinking about those poses, those movements, the way that you are presenting yourself, your
Yes.
body.
The art of modeling.
You're focusing on the craft.
Yes. And that is the key to book more clients or having the clients keep booking you. I know a lot of people have been asking me, how do I find clients, or how do clients find me? And it's through my worth ethic. I know also for you, they find that you're a great poser, you're a great walker, and it's through that word of mouth thing. Like, they know that you're such a good model, and then they're able to keep booking you, and that's what you want. The
Yes,
key from what I'm getting from your advice is to be ready. Once you work on yourself, you have more time for the craft, and then that's where your craft can shine. Yes.
exactly. Mm-hmm.
So let's move on to the final section of our interview, handling rejection. Modeling is about 90% rejection and
Mm-hmm.
5% working on connecting. Actually, no. Let me redo that. Modeling is about 50% networking, 40% rejection, and then 10% actually doing the job. So tell us, how are you able to handle rejection?
Mm-hmm. I'll answer this like this. We have a proverb in Russian, and it basically goes like this: for every merchandise, there is its own buyer, if that makes any sense. So basically, there's different types of merchandise, right? There's
Mm-hmm.
different types of product that you put out there. And while you may not need a certain item, somebody else might be looking for it.
Right.
That's the same way that you should think about modeling, because your image might not fit 10 people, right? 10 clients, but there will be one who's just looking for your specific look.
Right.
And if those 10 clients say no to you, you cannot hang your nose and just walk out and say, I'm done with modeling. This is it. You have to keep going. You have to know that
Right.
there is someone out there who will be looking for your look, for your skills, for what you have to offer.
Can't take it personal. It's just business.
You can't. You
Right.
just, you don't know what a client is looking for, right? You may not fit in with their vision, so you just have to keep going. Stay positive.
Exactly.
It's not easy to develop that thick skin, but you just have to learn it from experience, I guess. And
Right.
it,
It just comes with the job.
it just is. You have to know it.
Yes.
Underline it, circle it.
Yes, absolutely. I know it's hard to separate your image from who you really are, but I know a lot of people do that already through social media. It's like some people put out a certain persona. So,
Mm-hmm.
probably for our listeners, a way to think about it is, when you put yourself out there, make sure it's your best and your professional self.
That's
And that way, when you get rejected, it's not about you, it's whatever it is through them, whether you didn't fit the brand, like your look didn't fit the brand, whatever. It's not really on you.
it might be the timing of things, wrong place,
That's
wrong
true.
time. You never know. So just keep
Right.
going.
And many, many, many times you don't even hear feedback. So the only thing you can do is just keep going.
Mm-hmm. Try to stand out. Try to use, the best of your skills and really hone in all of those skills. Know how to
Right.
work with different parts of your body, your face. Um, just develop that craft to the best of your ability and stay
It all
positive.
goes back to being ready. Yes.
Really.
Okay, so our final question of the day is, if you can give advice to your past self or even those who are starting in the industry as a model, what would it be?
Mm. Advice to my past self: don't procrastinate. That's something I will keep telling myself, because I'm always in the mindset of, oh, I'll do better, in a month when my body looks more fit, when my face is more clear, if I fix any blemishes. So I would always postpone certain. I would probably miss opportunities because of that. So I would be stopping myself. So if there's something I would tell myself, it's that live in the moment, and even though you're not 100% content with the way you are, other people may not even notice. You are your worst critic, so do not stop yourself. Don't be the one who ruins the chances for yourself.
That is such good advice. Yes.
Right,
Don't hold yourself back. The time is now.
right. Because the more time passes, the the harder it becomes. I feel like you've spent so much time and you feel like you haven't gotten anywhere. So if you really dedicate yourself to modeling, if you work on yourself, you can achieve so much. It's all in our heads.
Absolutely. Yes. Well, thank you so much for being a part of this project. I've learned so much. I know a lot of our listeners will too. You've
Hope
dropped
so.
so many pieces of like gems of advice. I've got to like go back and rewatch this entire video and be like, ah, I got to write these down. These are great. So thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. I hope that was helpful and useful to people.
Absolutely.